Joining us now to review some of the headlines of today's newspapers from around the world is Arise News analyst Emmanuel Malabite Efene. Good morning.
Good morning, my friend Ruben. Good morning, Rufai. Good morning, Victoria Tundu MKO Abiola.
Good morning.
How are you today?
Very well, thank you.
Great. Now, let's start the review of today's newspaper with this day. Nigeria's newspaper of records. For a reason, the lead story. Despite Sanwo-Olu's denial, Army insists Lagos government requested troop deployment, denies shooting civilians. Governor never denied inviting soldiers, claims aid. Police command count losses, says 6 personnel killed, 38 injured, 71 force vehicles, 62 exhibits destroyed. 520 suspects arrested for arson, rioting. Southwest senators to lobby federal government to compensate Lagos. Quite an interesting story. From forces from higher than me or beyond me, ordered soldiers. Now it is being revealed that Governor Sanwo-Olu invited the soldiers. Now, a couple of days ago, the army chief, Tuko Buratai, addressed GOCs and other commanders. And it was as if Nigerians or the newspapers were just trying to put something on the head of the Nigerian army. He did not even make any admittance. And the theory being sold of unknown soldier, whether you call it fake soldiers, rogue soldiers, now we know that these are Nigerian soldiers who came out on the 9th of October 20 at the instance of the Lagos State government. But if we read some of the quotes, because the special assistant to the governor, senior special assistant, Jibril Giwat, while reacting said the governor never denied. But if we just read a portion of what the governor said, on this program, the army does not report to me. I have reported the matter to the highest command in the military. It's not something we are going to gloss over. A judicial panel will be set up to investigate it. I have escalated it to the highest level of the military. That is Governor Sanwo-Olu speaking, who is telling the truth. To assume that the panel set up to look into the SARS atrocities should also investigate this matter, I think we need a separate inquiry into this matter. We need a separate inquiry into this matter because the truth is now unfolding. There will be more. Who gave orders for the soldiers to shoot? Did they shoot at the protesters? They've been saying no. Those who got bullet wounds, those who died, what killed them? I think we need a separate inquiry into this soldiers' army intervention because the governor needs to tell Nigerians more than we now know. If I may add, Ruben, Rufai, and Tundu, the lights went out before the soldiers came in. That lights out was coordinated, and I can tell you, because our correspondent was on ground at Alausa, and he was looking at his time while talking to the protesters. 10 minutes to the curfew, you are still here. Are you not leaving? They said, no, we are not leaving, but we are appealing to the governor and the government to put on the lights they have just put off. And shortly after that, we panned to Lekki, and they were shouting, they have put off the light, oh. They are shooting, so there's seem to be some coordination. The Lagos State government will need to come out clean. The army will still need to say more than that press statement has revealed.
Oh, certainly.
We'll just move over to some other reports.
Can I just say something very quickly? Because I think this is the report today, quite frankly. You're so right. This has just created more questions than answers. Earlier on, when we were doing the newspapers, I identified what I felt was like a loophole in the military statement from Major Oshoba Olaniyi. But apparently, it wasn't a loophole because he said the Lagos State government called on them after the curfew was imposed. This was as a result of the violence which led to several police stations being burnt, policemen killed, etc. I thought he meant the violence that happened after the Lekki shootings, but he was referring to the violence that happened before the curfew, that caused the curfew to be called. If they had put a date, that might have been clearer. But I just still have a problem. You cannot claim to issue a statement coming clean and establishing the fact that you were ordered by the Lagos State government or whatever in one breath, and in another breath deny that shootings occurred. We are being gaslighted as a nation. We saw those videos, and those videos were verified by Storyful, which is owned by News Corp, the company that owns Wall Street Journal. They were independently verified. That is a company that verifies social media news. And it was said that those videos were authentic. People were shot. This gaslighting is really problematic.
So if we may just get your thought, Rufai, on that.
For me, one thing is certain. A lot of people have to speak up more. The military has come out to say this. We'd like to get a concise reaction, not from any spokesperson of the government, from the governor himself. He needs to come out and tell us, this thing the military said, is it true? And we need to probe more questions and ask, who really turned off the lights? We need to ask that. That has to be convincing. And in all of this, too, I beg, please, let us keep the integrity of the CCTV cameras that are still there intact.
You sure they are still intact?
Let us keep the integrity intact. Let us keep it intact. It's really very important. And when the judicial panel reconvenes on Friday, let them talk about this. And personally, I think another panel should be set up for Lekki incident separately from the SARS incident. Let's not muddle these things together.
We must have answers.
You get so let another
answers.
panel be set up separate, because when I watched the stuff yesterday on TV, it was just the SARS incident. It will muddle everything up because the Yorubas have a word, kia kia. I want the Lekki incident to be treated kia kia, quickly. So if possible, set up another panel. But all of these questions need to be answered, not for the sake of posterity.
We have to know what happened.
Ruben, shouldn't the army be doing more than it's doing now at the highest level of the military high command, investigating this matter?
Well, we cannot ask too much for investigation, and we cannot insist too much on the truth. As for the army and the statement issued by 81 Div, I commented at length earlier on, and I also raised a number of questions. But let me talk about the police, because that was one of the issues you raised in your review of the front page of this day newspaper, with CPO Dumosu reporting yesterday that 6 policemen were killed, that 71 police vehicles were set ablaze, that 29 police stations or formations, as he said, in Lagos were destroyed. Now, we feel also for the police, because in the imagined narrative, you get the impression that the police is the villain in this matter. But it's just a section of the police, the Special Anti-Robbery Squad. The majority of policemen, they are also victims like the rest of us. They have children, they have families, they have friends. Those 6 policemen that died.
Yes, if they can quickly put on the new telegraph, police counting losses in Lagos is there. Just carry on. I just want that to be on the screen.
Those 6 policemen that died, they are also somebody's husband, somebody's sons, and it is very unfortunate that they have become, part of the casualties in this particular case. The morale of the Nigeria police must be very low at this moment, and I hope that is not what explains what I have observed in the last 2 days, the absence, the practical absence of policemen on the streets of Lagos. If the police, if they say they are unhappy and they withdraw from the streets, well, who will do the job of still securing Nigeria? Because that fundamental duty of providing security for lives and properties, it's a very important responsibility. So whatever can be done to ensure that the families of the 6 that died in Lagos and other policemen that died nationwide, whatever can be done should be prioritized, both by the state government and by the federal government. And we also call on private persons who can provide support for the police. In Lagos, 71 vehicles. Now imagine a situation whereby they still have those 71 vehicles. It could affect movement. It could make their work much better. So I think part of the solution moving forward, as government addresses the concerns, the welfare of the police being part of the original 5 demands of the Nigerian youth, the police should be prioritized. Their confidence should be rebuilt, because whatever may have happened, we still need them.
Our hearts and sympathies go to families of policemen who are in grief as we speak, because no life should be lost. Every life is valuable. The life of the policeman, the life of the civilian. So our hearts and sympathy to all policemen. Yesterday, somebody called into a radio station to say his neighbor is a policeman. He wanted to go to work. The children prevailed. Daddy, you cannot wear this uniform and leave this house. So it is as bad as that. I think we also need to deal with the issue of police welfare, which coincidentally happens to be one of the 5-point demands of the End SARS protesters, which President Muhammadu Buhari has wholeheartedly accepted. And I think we should see action in that direction also.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ferry.